And I want to tell this story because it's a true story. It's true. It happens. Uh, Things we have to live with that nobody else knows about because we think we are hiding it, but in reality, it's destroying us. My name is Charles Brookins. I am the 10th child of J.W. Brookins Sr. and Willie Pearl Brookins. Um, I am from a very large family of 10. I'm being the baby boy. My school years was very good. I say very good school years. I played football, very active in high school. Uh, I got along well with my siblings. Uh, we all was like one big happy family. Went on to school, graduated from high school, Monroe High School here in Albany, Georgia. When I graduated from Monroe High, I decided to go in the military. My personal life in the military was great. And the reason I say it was great because I met my first wife. Her name was Carolyn Chambers. I met her. She gave birth to two daughters for me, Candace and Danielle. Those were my two daughters. I stayed married to her 12 years. This is when everything was going great in my marriage, but then all of a sudden, there's always, I want to say, something behind you that's a hindrance. And my hindrance was, I'm not going to say alcohol, but it was drugs. I got addicted to crack cocaine. Got addicted to crack cocaine. We moved from Columbus, Georgia to Albany, Georgia. And when we moved from Columbus, we moved here. I got a great job. I was the first black driver for Pony Express Courier Company here in Albany, Georgia. And it started out very well. I was making great money, but sometimes you can run into the wrong people. It can be people in your family. It can be a distant cousin. And in my case, it was a distant cousin. I never forget it. I was on my job, and I was driving, and I saw one of my cousins, and I stopped. That's why I made my biggest mistake. I stopped. And when I stopped, I went in the house, got out of the vehicle, went in the house, and I noticed they were doing some things that they was kind of, it was hiding it from me, but they had a can, and I had never seen this before. They had a can with some holes punched in the top. And I thought it was very strange. And I said, what is that? He said, you don't want any of this. And with me being so arrogant, so boastful, I wanted to try it. I said, I want to try it anyway. So I tried it. When I tried it, he showed me how to do it. He said, you don't want this, cuz. You want? I said, hey, give it here. I said, give it to me. So I get it, and I light it. And I blew it out. I said, I don't feel nothing. I said, take this. Okay, so I leave, and I go on my way. So about a week later, I'm on my job, and I stopped by his house. I said, you remember that stuff you had? I said, can you get another one? Now, at this time, I'm addicted, but I didn't know I was addicted. And that's the way crack cocaine works. It grabs you in from the first time you hit it, but you don't realize it. But the more you do, the more you become addicted to it. This drug took my family. This drug took it took my pride. It took my honor. It took my respect. It took everything from me that it could possibly take. Once I was involved with it, it became a life that you become homeless. Now let me tell you about homelessness. This area here is where I used to sleep at. I used to sleep here during the winter time. And this area here It wasn't a fence here. It just was a bunch of old raggedy cars. Just a bunch of cars, a bunch of raggedy cars here, torn up cars. And they used to leave these cars open at night. And it was cold, man, in the wintertime. This is where I used to sleep at. I used to come up here and get in one of these cars and go to sleep. And when I wake up, the whole window used to be fogged up. There's nothing but fog. And I used to wake up in that car and get out before the owner came and opened up. All that area right there is where I used to walk up and down the street. Through here, nothing but drugs were being sold. Across the street here, it was the Oglethorpe Lounge, where I used to work, and that was not a good lounge for black people back in those days. It was known as a redneck bar. It was a redneck bar, but the bartender in there knew me, and he used to let me work to make a little money to get a hotel room here at the Region. As you can see in the background, the Royal Inn is in the back. This used to be one hotel. Back in 2006, 2004, 2006, this is one of the areas that I used to hang in. I used to buy my drugs up here. Sometimes we used to buy keys from other people that lived here, and when they left the room, we stayed in the room that they was in. This is where I used to like to get my rooms at, because it was the cheapest hotel, and this is where I used to hang at the most, right here. It wasn't worth the money. When you went to sleep at night, you just had to sleep with one eye open and one ear open, because a lot of the doors didn't work. We knew exactly what room to go to and what door to knock on to buy our drugs. And it got so bad, this is one of the hard things that you thought you would never get this low in life. I wasn't the type of person that would take things or steal things from people. I survived the best way I knew how. Most of the time I would get a job. But usually when I get the job, the money that I had, I would use it up on drugs. I would use it up on crack cocaine. The main things I did, one of the lowest points that I could never, ever forget is after the high is gone, you get so hungry. You get so hungry that you really want something to eat. And I'll never forget this. I was standing around a restaurant, and I used to observe the restaurant when they used to take out the trash. They would take the trash out, and they would take the food out at the end of the shift that nobody bought. The hamburgers still wrapped, the hot dogs still in the buns, and they would throw it away. And me, so low, so hungry, I would go in the dumpsters and get those hamburgers and get those hot dogs, and I used to eat them. I had to do that because it was a way of survival. And I've done that on several occasions. I would get my stash, I would take it out the dumpster, and I would go somewhere in an abandoned house with no lights on and eat it, and wake up and start the next day. Now, this is to say this, I finally found a way out. I went to a lot of rehabs, but rehab didn't work for me. The 12-step program did not work for me because I was very judgmental. Even though I was an addict or a user, I was still very judgmental of some things. I never received the part in the 12-step program, once an addict, always an addict. Because I always told myself that anything that I start, I could stop. And I felt like if I started something, that I knew one day that I would be able to stop it. And once I stopped, I would tell myself, I'm no longer that person anymore. So I finally moved back to Columbus, Georgia. When I moved back to Columbus, Georgia, it got a little worse. I began to do burglaries. This is when I first went to prison. I went to prison for burglary. That a job that I worked on. I broke in the building after it closed. I came back and I broke in the building. I had a big cut on my leg where I crawled through the window, and I got all the money out of the building, and I went home. Went back to my first wife's house, Carolyn, and she saw all the blood on me. She said, "Where you been? What you done?" So I told her what I had done. I said, I broke in the building I used to work in. Sure enough, the next morning, here come a knock at the door. Detectives coming, knocking on the door, asking, does Charles Brookins live here? Carolyn lied for me. She said, no, he don't live here. I don't know where he's at. Well, we need to question him. We need to talk to him about a burglary. Okay, so they talked to me, and so they bring me downtown to Columbus Metropolitan Police Department, and they arrested me for burglary. Of my first time being arrested for the use of crack cocaine. Anyway, they take you in, they process you in, but you never go to a prison camp. So they let me out. Maybe about 8 months they let me out. I never forget my brother, my sister Marie, and my brother. They came to Columbus and they picked me up and they brought me back to Albany. When they brought me back to Albany, it started all over again with the drug use. Now by this time I done lost everything, I done lost everybody. And when I was in Columbus, I heard about a place called the House of Mercy. Now, this place literally saved my life. The House of Mercy. It was not a rehab, but it was a Christian-based place that you can go, you can live there, you can sleep there, you can eat there. But there was one condition: you had to go to church every day you were there. You could not miss church service. And what it was not a homeless shelter. If you said you was homeless, you couldn't get in. So the only way you can get in is you had to say that you had a problem with drugs, or you had a problem with alcohol, and you want to get closer to your higher power. That's what they want you to call it, your higher power. So they gave me a room, they brought me in, and I worked there. I went to church, I worked there. I began to do well there. I became over the program. I got into minister classes, and I became an ordained minister right there at the House of Mercy after about 2 years. I stayed there for about 2 years, and then I became an ordained minister. And after 2 years, I advanced to continue to go through the programs that they had at Beacon University in Columbus, Georgia. It was a college. They would pay for your tuition to go to college, to become a minister, to become a pastor. So I was picked for that role. And once I went, I became an ordained pastor at the House of Mercy. And I stayed there, and I watched a lot of people come in, and I watched a lot of people go out the same way I came in. I used to talk to the people and say, hey, look, it'll work if you just stay here and work it. And I always told myself this. I said, Charles, I said, if you could see where your money going, you can kick this habit. But when I came back, God had a plan for me. When I went to this job on AMCI, this is where I'm at today. God had my wife, my second wife, there on the job. And her name was Gwendolyn Redding. And she was my supervisor. That's Gwen ring. This is a picture. That's a picture of her ring on her finger. And we got married. Yeah. It was a big part of my life. Completely changed after all this drug use. This us on our way out. That's that fairway to end it right there. That's Gwen and me on our way out of the church. And the rest is history. After I moved in with her, I began to get my life more and more together. I began to develop a relationship with my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I continued that saying I said that if you buy what you can see with your money, you can't spend it. So I began to buy things, clothes, furniture for the apartment, bought me a car. I never forget, I bought my first car, and I have it out there in the garage right now, Buick Sabre, 2002. The first car I ever bought when I got off of drugs. And it's out there in the garage right now. And it's hard for me to depart with that car, because that's the same car that I drove around doing drugs in. The same car I had going dumpster diving. The same car I had when you found crack pipes in it. The same car. So it's kind of hard for me to depart from that car. But now I want to go back a little bit, because I want to give some of my family members some credit. All of them was not totally against what I was doing. And my niece is here today. Her mom was one of them, Beatrice. She always told me, she said, this is very tough. My sister told me, she said, I want you to get off of those drugs. She talked to me. She said, I want you to get off them drugs, Charles. She said, if you don't do nothing else, she said, I want you to get off them drugs. And when she told me that, I knew she meant it. She was sick. She was sick when she told me that. But she told me she wanted me to get off of those drugs. And I never forgotten that. Never forgotten it. Never forgotten it. But a big part of my life, big part right here. Thank God for her. She was always there for me. She didn't quite see it, but I know she know. But my oldest sister, Marie, she saw it before she left. A lot of them saw it, so God gave me everything back. Everything that the enemy took from me, God gave it back. Because I was dedicated, I wanted to do it. You gotta want to do it. You just gotta want to better your life. If you're on any kind of drugs, if you're on any kind of alcohol, don't let the devil tell you you cannot kick it. Anything you start in this life, you can stop it. I am a true believer that God gave me $185,000 home with a 5.5 credit score. I'm a witness today what he done. $185,000 home. When I applied, my credit score was 5.5. And they said, Mr. Brookins, congratulations. You're the new homeowner of a home in Leesburg, Georgia, 119 Cedar Drive, and they gave us the key, and they closed it out. Now, I know how God moved that day, and it's a miracle to me right here today, how if you put your mind to do something, you can do it. So that's where I'm at today. God has given me everything back. I have a relationship with my daughters now. I have a relationship with my 6 grandkids. My daughters have 3 grandkids, 3 kids apiece. I have 1 granddaughter. And I have 1 son-in-law. And God has given me my relationship back with my family. God has given me my relationship back with my nieces, my nephews, with my whole family. God has given my relationship back. And I'm thankful today for where I'm at in my life. I wasn't used to this. But when I moved here, it gave me a peace of mind because I could come here and I can really reflect on, what God brought me from. I can really reflect on it because I feel safe. I feel safe here because the areas that I was in when I was on drugs was really some really bad areas. At night, really bad areas. You just hear gunshots and ambulances all night. So to come somewhere where it's really quiet at, you can just really enjoy yourself, just sit out and just enjoy it, don't have to worry about. I just thank God for this because it's a real quiet place, real quiet place. And one thing I can truly say, family always be welcome here, even when I'm gone. I don't know who's gonna take it, but it's for somebody. That's what I say. Whoever want it. If the children don't want it, whoever want it. But I thank God for it. It's real nice. Thanks.